What's up, everybody? I'm Sly The Movie Guy, and here's my movie review of Avengers Endgame, directed by the Russo brothers, stars Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner, and the rest of the other cast and crew. And in this film, after the devastating events of Avengers Infinity War, the universe is in ruins. With the help of remaining allies, the Avengers assemble once more in order to undo Thanos' actions and restore order to the universe. And this is a non-spoiler review, so there will be no spoilers in this review at all. You're good. I couldn't wait for this movie. This movie was one of my anticipated movies of 2019. I just couldn't wait for this movie. Man, the teaser trailer from the official trailer to a special look, all of that, and I did thoughts on the videos on his channel. I just couldn't wait for this movie. Everything about them was like really good. And everything, and the way the Infinity War ended, I was just wondering what was going to happen. It left you thinking like, what's going to happen next? What's going to be? So that was like kind of clever because that movie was so good, and I did a review on the channel, the non-spoiler and a spoiler review of it. You can check those out. The movie just left me like shocking. And Infinity War was just like a good movie. It was one of my favorite films of 2018. And I just fell in love with that movie. And it just left me like, what's going to happen in this movie? And thought we have the Russo brothers directing the movie, Anthony and Joe, coming back. And then the writers, I forgot their names, but they came back to do this film. So I'm kind of curious how the director and writers are going to do in this film. And I'm very curious how the Russo brothers are going to direct this film because they did so well with the last 3 MCU films that they have directed. Like Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, and Infinity War. They have done an absolutely fantastic job with those films, especially the last 2, Civil War and Infinity War, how they use multiple characters and stuff and all that with 11 characters and then 40 characters in Infinity War. It's just amazing how they know how to do that. And I got to say, this movie, I left out pleasantly surprised. This movie just left so many surprises. And I got to say, the Russo brothers are 4 for 4 in the MCU. They have just really, I don't know how they did this. I really don't know. This movie is absolutely probably one of the best movies of 2018. And I'm not kidding. This movie just has so much in here. I left out the movie theater. Just couldn't believe, like, I had to gather my thoughts. There's so much happened, and this movie was 3 hours long. So there's so much in this movie to handle. I had to gather my thoughts up and everything. And I gotta say, I enjoy it. I'm going to end up watching it again. So there's so much. And there's a lot of surprises that, if you have any, like, theories of the movie, if any theories you had, it might be flipped. And some of them you might be right, but I didn't do no theories at all. So I went in this movie without anything because I like to be surprised by the movies like that. I did it with Infinity War and I did it with this. And one of the things that really surprised me about this movie is really, I'd say, the storyline really interesting because that was one of the main things I was curious about. And I gotta say, the storyline made me, like, really got me surprised. There's some surprising moments that actually happened in the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie that really shocked me, especially like the way how they did it. And I just not going to spoil any of the surprises, but the way how they made you care for the characters in this movie. Like at this moment, it's almost like at this moment where our remaining heroes are trying to figure out how to undo the snap and stuff. And it made it like a mystery movie. With some action is in it, it's just the mystery of it, just like how we're gonna do this and stuff. And when our characters are thinking, we're thinking as an audience too. So the way this movie is, it puts us like we're in this event. And it's just like we're sad, and things are sad here because there's like characters that are down, they're sad, their loved ones are gone and stuff. You could actually feel the depth of our characters, and it felt real. And I just was like, wow, I'm just real, like I'm involved, and like I was involved like and it's the snap, it's all that. Like, I lost the loved one or something. And you can really feel that, especially like some of the characters like that we seen in the previous MCU films. It was so good how they did this film, the writers and the directing. And I say the directing and writing did an awesome job here of doing that. More on the character stuff. So like when they do stuff like that, like when they figuring out some stuff that they did early on the film that they try to do, it didn't work, so they had to think of like a plan B and stuff. It's like, and then when they got to the thing that they need, it really it really kicked in the gear of making me just like get invested on it, and it was just suspenseful too. Some of the stuff like really kicked in the gear when like one of the characters just like pop up and just like giving like just what they should do and stuff. It was just like, wow, I didn't expect that. And that happens later on in the film, especially the second act. There's some stuff that happens here in this movie that just really surprised me. That's why I really think the Russo brothers and the writers, especially the writers, they did some surprising stuff in here that just really shocked me off. I really like, especially from like some like certain characters that surprise in this film. I was just really like say, whoa. I was just so shocked. Especially, and let me not get into any spoilers, because like I said, try to contain it, because it's really hard to try not to spoil this movie. There's some there's some interesting things that just, like, during this movie that I didn't expect to happen. And some of it I kind of predicted that was going to happen, but the way the writers put it in this movie, I was just surprised how they when they put it again, because I was like, it was just like, there's so much probably more, I don't want to get spoiled, but it let me like, wow, they pulled it off. Yeah, the surprise, they you know how to utilize it well and put in a story of what's happening when we were trying to figure out how our character is going to pull this off, or what Thanos did with the snap and stuff. I was just like, couldn't believe how they just put it there. It blended in well. It just didn't seem like a slow burn or nothing. And I didn't feel it. If there was a slow burn, I didn't really feel it because I was invested in what our character was trying to do. So that was one of the things I just really was shocked about. Let me get on to the characters and the chemistry in this movie. The chemistry of these characters, the writers directing knocked it out of the park with this. And I say that because the Infinity War, I was kind of curious how they're going to put our characters with the other characters. And Infinity War, they did extremely well. And they did extremely well with here, again, with these characters. I was pleasantly surprised. They did a fantastic job. Man, the character, the dialogue, talk, and all that, the chemistry level worked perfectly here. And that's why I say the MCU is knocking out the park with the character interactions and stuff. And they did well. And the casting is absolutely great here. Robert Downey Jr. is great as Iron Man. He was born to play this role. Fantastic. Robert Downey Jr. His performance as Iron Man is just great. And this man and Robert Downey Jr. is just fantastic as Iron Man. From Infinity War, I thought his acting was great, but here is really great because you actually can feel for this character and feel the emotion of this character in this movie. Man, I just felt like attached to Iron Man in this movie all the way through, from beginning, middle, and end. Chris Evans as Captain America. What more can I say? Man, he was, woo! His Captain America. This is absolutely, to me, like one of the best performances out of Chris Evans. And as far as like other comic movies, Civil War, Winter Soldier, the first Avengers, Chris Evans just owns this role as Captain America. Captain America is one of my favorite MCU comic book characters. I love Captain America. I even dress like Captain America in Comic-Con. I just like this character. This character, Chris Evans just owns the role as Captain America. He's to me like the Christopher Reeve Superman of the MCU. He just does great as Captain America. Now let me talk about the other two characters to get this out the way. That really I thought were really good. I really actually like Karen Gillan as Nebula here. I thought her acting was absolutely fantastic in this movie. She did well in Nebula and other Guardian Galaxies, but in the other films and all that. But I think other characters kind of like overpowered her role a little bit in the other film. But here, man, her as Nebula was absolutely great. I just felt her character here, and her performance was absolutely great. It was great in Infinity War. Here, it was absolutely great too. Other character I was going to talk about, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang and Ant-Man. I wonder if this is gold that the MCU has. They literally kind of. Is this gold? Because Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, Ant-Man, he knocks it out of the park. It's just like, I think that was just like perfect. That was like the diamond in the rough casting in the MCU. Because how do you, when I first saw the Ant-Man movie, I just didn't know what to expect from this character and from this actor. And Paul Rudd just knocks it out of the park as Ant-Man. Man, he was so incredibly funny. It's just everything about it was great about him. I just liked it. Mark Ruffalo does great as the Hulk. Chris Hemsworth does great as Thor. There's some funny moments with Thor that I couldn't believe with the Thor character. The way things went, no spoilers, but man, I don't know what to say. And that kind of leads me on to the comedy here. I was kind of curious about how the comedy was going to be in this film. I was shocked how much laughter I had with this film. There's a lot of funny moments in this film that actually kind of shocked me. For the way what happened in Avengers Infinity War, I was kind of shocked how they did it here. I was like, oh, there were some funny parts here that had me flat out laughing. There were some parts especially with Thor, I just was like, it was a laugh out loud moment. I was like in literally tears. And Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, whatever Mark Ruffalo here as his character, I don't know what. It was funny how they did his character. It just crazy, no spoilers. I couldn't believe it. It is crazy. There's a lot of crazy things. There's so many funny moments. I thought the comedy worked on some parts. Some parts kind of was like, it kind of went too over there, and that's one of the parts I kind of was like, okay, the humor here could have been taken out. I can understand they try to do it to lighten up the tone, because, some kids are going to go see this movie, but there's some comedy else like, okay, can we slow it down a little bit to get to the serious parts? So that was one of the things. It didn't, really mess up the movie, so some of the comedy, like I said, some of the comedy elements really worked in this film, so I don't, downgrade it. It's just one of my little nitpicks on the film a little bit on that part. Let me get on to one of the things, and no spoilers. Like I said, I know I said it about 2 or 3 times, but I don't want you to think I'm spoiling this movie. The very last hour, the third act, the 50 minute, the last act. Oh my. Oh, holy, whoo! There's this has to be, if you remember the one of the best set pieces in Captain America: Civil War, the action scene of the airport of the Captain America: Civil War. Endgame, the last act, 50 minutes. Oh, I was floored. This is the last, there's so many shock moments. When I do a spoiler review of this movie, if I get a chance to, oh my God. Woo! It just left me saying, Excelsior! I couldn't believe that last. It was. for comic book fans, just like me, if y'all, if you comic fan, if you haven't seen this movie, when you wait to get to that last hour, it is a comic book dream, comic book dreamers what you dream of. That last act, I can't believe it. I don't know, can that ever be topped? I mean, I don't know if this can ever be topped. This was like the Russo brothers and the writers, they went full, like they went full, like full house with this one. Woo! Oh my God. There was one shock moment and the movie theaters were clapping. Everybody was at glimpse. We were like, I couldn't believe it. There was one scene that literally, and it was like a geeked out moment. It left me screaming like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that when I saw that scene. I just fist bumped everything. I was beside my parents and all that in the movie theater. I couldn't believe what was happening. I'm like, hey, if you're gonna go full force with it, go full force with it. Man, it was just awesome. Everything about this movie was just awesome, and it was just, man, it was good. The emotional side of this movie had like two of them. One shocked me, and then the last one, it like around in the third act, it just left me like, and I was literally like teared up. It just one of my favorite characters, and I was just like, it was like one of those characters I was just like couldn't believe what happened. I just was so shocked. You kind of can probably I was like, man, there was one of the things, this movie, it hit me here. And that's just like, and usually comic movies, when you can do that, that says that says a lot, and it did it for me, man. I like when comic films do that, and that was one of the things I say this movie do well on, the emotionalness of this movie. This it does something. It did it right, and then the movie also ended off happy with our character. So I was just like, it put a smile on my face. I was just happy to see our character, and no spoilers. It just, the way they ended it is great for our character story arc. I was happy about it. They did it perfectly right. So I was like, yes. And that's one of the parts I like from this movie. Now let me get on to the negatives. The negatives, like I said, the comedies didn't work. Some of it I kind of like say, okay, they could have just like slowed down off of it. But I can understand what they were trying to do is trying to make it fun for the family and stuff here and there. So some, like I said, the comedy worked. Some that's just like, okay, they could have just took them back. Some parts in the first, second act, some scenes I kind of felt like, okay. Some didn't need to be in there. Some didn't. I was like, okay, fine, here and there. But like I said, it doesn't hurt this movie. Overall, this movie is fantastic from start to finish. I really enjoyed it. This is like one of my favorite films of 2019. And as of right now, I'm going to give Avengers Endgame a solid A. Let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think about this movie? What do you think? Will you like it or not? Let me know those things, which you like about it. And let me know which film do you like better, which your favorite Avengers film is. From the first Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, or Avengers Endgame. Or which film did you like, Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame? If it was between me, I might pick Infinity War slightly over Endgame. I think something about it, I enjoyed Infinity War a little bit more. I enjoy Endgame, but I think Infinity War might be a tad bit more better. I gotta think of it. I gotta let it simmer through my head. I gotta see this movie a second time, Avengers Endgame, just to get my opinions. That's it. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, click thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, click subscribe and the bell button. That's so I can see you next time on Sly the Movie Guy. Peace.